went on a world tour complaining about how they don't want attention.
Complain about how bad they got it. The richest people on the planet, man.
Oh, what's that? They're famous for what skill? Oh, no, he was just born to a family. She's a failed actress.
So
she held up a briefcase in a game show.
No, she was on this show Emma's watching now because the writer strike is still going on. You've all forgotten. We all have. That's right. We're here to remind you on the daily.
We've actually talked about it more than any show.
They owe us some residuals or something, man. She was on Suits. I don't know if you ever saw the show Suits. I was not familiar.
I refuse.
It was on years ago, I think. It's kind of an oldie, but a goodie. Emma's rolling through it on the Netflix. She seems to be a huge fan. I've dipped in from time to time when I'm not busy, and it seems a little entertaining. There's some funny characters in it, but she's in it, and I have noticed every time she's there on the screen, it's Megan Merkle. She's not an actually talented actress of any type, but
no, of course not.
She's there, and I was just surprised because I didn't actually know she was a credible actress, as in had any credits to her resume. Wasn't she on the game show? I thought that was her big thing.
Yeah, Deal or No Deal.
That's
She held the briefcase, or opened it.
Okay, nice. Well, that's how she got her start, right? I mean, everyone's got to start low. J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez, her breakthrough hit was being one of the backup dancers In Living Color.
Yeah, good call. Good call.
You got to start somewhere, man. And look at Megan Merkle. She was doing the soap opera stuff, I think, and then she was holding the briefcase for that bald dude who's a germaphobe, Howie Mandel, or whatever his name is.
Yeah, what a weird guy.
He's a weirdo, man. And then all of a sudden she's on this hit show Suits. I think it was on like Showtime back in the day, or HBO, something like that.
I refuse to watch it just because of the preview on Netflix, where it's like the super smart guy.
It's all up. Yeah, he's the super smart young guy, and he finagles his way in to the lawyer world, and
that show is what's wrong with this younger generation.
I know, dude.
They all believe they are this super smart.
Dude, totally.
We grew up with Rain Man. Oh, okay, yeah, there's one retard locked up in a mental institution.
His friends with Tom Cruise.
He could count all the toothpicks. Great. Okay. All right, that guy's special.
For sure. Yeah. No, we
I
didn't
didn't think we were special.
Yeah, or I don't know, the high-paced, fast-talking, city-living, all the women are babes, but they're also cunning and smart, and the dudes all are just, animals in the sack, but they're also, crude and rude businessmen.
It just seems so exhausting. I mean, do you even want to live like that?
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Right?
No way, man. It doesn't
Where's
seem
the time
fun.
to sit back, crack open a beer, smoke a bong, and do a 2-hour podcast with your brother?
That's right, dude. Catch a little sun ray action in the backyard for a couple hours and admire your weed plants, right? That's what life's all
about. The little things. You guys are missing out.
Oh, no doubt about it. Well, I was not missing out this weekend. I just got back last night from a trip to Vegas. I was there for 24 hours, man.
Oh, wow.
It was crazy. We caught a red eye. Thank you for the sound effect. That was perfect. Early in the morning, hopped aboard a plane. And
the window's open, so I was going to have it every 90 seconds.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll just keep telling stories about airplanes.
It's great.
Work out. Oh, man, got to the Vegas early morning, man, and picked up by an Uber that was a Tesla, was rolling in style, and we booked a place at the MGM Grand, which was all over the news. I'm sure my information's all over the web now, and I'm screwed financially, but, I had...
Did you get the free lap dance?
We got free beers when we waited in line to check in.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I thought that was excellent. Free beer while I wait in line, while you guys, while my private information spreads all over China. Thanks, guys.
While they rack up your credit in China.
That's right.
All right, max out your credit cards.
I'm sure it's all going to Ukraine somewhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're waiting in line, free beer, rode in style. But either way, I had to meet Emma first, where she was doing a convention, and she was in Old Vegas. And I don't know if anyone's familiar with Old Vegas. It's downtown Vegas. It's about 10 minutes past the Strip. And it's where the old, the cowboy, that neon giant cowboy sign is. And it's the famous.
It's still there?
Oh, it's still there. Yeah, they put this weird rooftop thing over the Strip that's just LED lights, and they're showing all sorts of funky, weird stuff on it. And I had to hang out there for about an hour or two and wait around. And so I kind of bopped around, did a little gambling in Old Vegas. It was fun. Gone are the days of like the dollar slots, man. This Bidenomics is even hitting Old Vegas, baby. It's $10 and up, man.
No.
Yeah, oh yeah, dude. The cheap gambling days are no more in Vegas. You probably got to go to Reno for that action, I'm guessing. But
no more like quarter slots?
No, man. It was $10 and up for everything. I was pretty shocked. I did a little roulette and hung around. I had a good time at the Golden Nugget, a classic stay in the Old Vegas, and then we cruised up to our joint at the MGM, got the free beer. China took all my info, and then I don't know if the MGM Grand, second largest hotel in America.
Is it really?
Third largest in the world, I believe.
Wow.
It's freaking massive, man. They got these 4 different wings, and you get on here.
I'm surprised the Saudis don't have us beat on that.
Well, I didn't say first.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the Arabs, somebody would have.
United Emirates definitely must have number 1 or number 2. I must imagine.
I was thinking they got to have like top 5.
Yeah, well, MGM Grand is in there. It's a major resort, man. The pool area, 7 pools.
Wow, still no room.
Lazy River, yeah. Well, so we happened to go on the weekend that was celebrating Mexican heritage and Spanish tradition,
Yeah.
I gotta say, I couldn't have asked for a better weekend to be in Vegas. These people know how to party, my man.
Oh, yeah.
It was a get down, a Latin get down, through and through, everywhere you went. Really a great time. The pool scene, incredible. Emma and I were, we did a lot of walking around. Like, they had this nice central bar. And you can kind of hang out there and then grab a drink and just kind of walk around, maybe dip into one of the 7 pools. And amongst the pools, they had this lazy river going around. And along the lazy river, right, there are these, like, they got the main cabanas that you could rent out for like 5 G's if you're filthy rich, and you get the full service and, all the good stuff. But they have these mini, like, bed cabanas that you could purchase for like $300 to $500, depending on the location. Yeah, right? So you get this bed under an umbrella, you get the full service, and we were walking around, and we were kind of checking them out, like, seeing what, like, if it was worth it, what were the nice ones, and we realized, like, these beds going for, like, $500, they're basically positioned all around this lazy river, and when you walk around this lazy river, you realize that it's basically like 300 fat whales just floating across this, like, dirty, filthy water that's just filled with sunscreen and sweaty fat people and spilled beer and, pina colada juice and, like, and they're all just these behemoths, man, just, like, floating in the water. And you're paying $500 to sit there on this bed to just stare at fat people float down a lazy river, dude. Like, I don't think that's very romantic or really worth the money, man.
And it's Mexican Independence Weekend, so half those fat slobs are wearing their white T-shirts.
Yes, a lot of T-shirts in the pool. You nailed it. Yeah.
I don't know why they do it. That's
thing. It's a thing, I know. I made note of it. I made a serious mental note.
It's so
funny,
of
T-shirts
the white
T-shirts.
In the pool. Like, why did they all specifically pick a white T-shirt?
I saw a couple black tees out there. People were kind of mixing it up.
Those were the black sheep.
That's right, dude. Vegas,
sorry,
though.
The El Negro sheep. I don't know how you say shape.
Oh, man, we had a great time, though. We ended up... so MGM Grand, like I said, one of the largest in the nation hotel-wise. You get up the elevator to go to your room. Your room, like, 753 down an aisle of like 700 rooms, man.
Wow.
It's like a mile and a half of a walk just to get to your room from the elevators, dude. It's crazy.
One of those like creepy long corridors with all the doors.
Really long, dude, and some parts are darker than others. And like, we were commenting to ourselves as the weekend progressed, kind of like, depending on your state of mind and inebriation, that hallway either took an hour to walk or you levitated in 20 seconds to your room. You know what I'm saying? There was no in between. It was the longest walk of your life, or are we seriously here already? How did that happen?
I would love to see the surveillance videos of the people that never made it.
Yeah.
Just stayed in that hallway their entire trip and then went home.
Well, we were noticing how the way it's designed with the darkness, the AC, it was 100 degrees out there. You could just get lost in your room and like never emerge for several days.
Yeah.
Between the room service. Yeah, exactly. And you're so far away. I mean, you could be so drunk sometimes where you're like, I don't even think I can make it to the elevator. It's not worth it tonight. I'm going to call it a night. Try to get
you'll save yourself some money.
That's right, dude. We made our way at one point around 1:32 a.m. to New York, New York, just across the street on the strip there from the MGM Grand. MGM Grand, big, hot, mega casino, a lot of celebrities and wealthy people. Bill Maher was there for the evening, did a bit.
Performing?
Yeah, we didn't catch him, but he was there. We can only assume he was, living large in a penthouse, right? Or probably just flew back home, I imagine. But Bill Maher was there, but all the tables, really expensive, man. You can't, gamble anymore in some of these places. You got to go to New York, New York. You get the $15 table, man. That's where it's at. Oh, yeah.
That's a lot, man. You're burning through cash at that rate.
Well, you just got to bring your set amount of cash that you want to lose and hope that you could stretch it for about 2-3 hours, going up, going down, and having a good time. And if you do that, you get free drinks at the table. The waitresses walk around, so you don't end up paying the $10 plus per beer or whatever it is, And that's what we did. We hung out till they closed down the tables. It was fantastic. Met an interesting fella, a radio guy from Canada. He was there for some convention or something. He was a sports radio guy. Scored his business card. Nice fella. Epps or Ebbs, I can't remember. But he sat with us and we just had a hootin' and hollerin' of a good time at 2-3 in the morning there in the New York, New York. And,
wow. And then came back the next day, huh?
And then we came back the next day, yeah, man. We scheduled the flight later in the afternoon, so that way we could get a little recovery action at the poolside before our flight. And so we were able to check the bags at the front and hang out for the day. And we had some extra chips that we got rid of at the New York, New York. Did some more pool lounging, and then back at it, man. Back here, ready to roll. Yeah.
The life of the rich,
The rich and the famous? Yeah, man.
Yeah, then you get to just go to Vegas for a day.
Hanging out with radio DJs from Canada, right? C-listers, baby. Yeah. Well, it was a good time.
I've never been to Vegas.
You got to check it out one of these days.
Check it out.
We'll do a live show from there one day or another. But yeah, we were there at the MGM, the place that just happened to be in the news, and we got to talk about it since I was there. And China, if you're listening, I'd like my information back, please. Thank you. All right, so let's go. Let's check out what was going on with the cyberattack of the century.
To that threat against MGM casinos from Atlantic City to Las Vegas, it's only intensifying tonight. And with ATM and gambling screens going dark, our reporter today witnessing casino workers paying customers their winnings by hand. Mola Lengi on the casino floor in Las Vegas tonight.
Tonight, the hackers that brought down computer systems at MGM properties, from the Borgata in Atlantic City to the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, threatening more attacks if a deal is not reached. The outages frustrating guests at the 13 hotels and casinos along the Strip.
Teams of MGM staffers are roaming the casino floor, paying people their cash winnings by hand, since so many of these machines are not paying out in the way that they're supposed to. And there are countless more that aren't even working.
This is the scene right now at the Bellagio.
Las Vegas native Jacob Orth in the casinos all week.
Those first couple of days, it was pretty chaotic. At this point, it's definitely noticeable progress.
This, the second major attack on casinos in just days. Caesars now offering identity theft protection to customers in their loyalty program whose personal information may have been compromised.
The rumor going around town was that Caesars offered up a $31 million payment to the hackers.
Oh, yeah, it's that ransomware, right?
Yes,
where, they locked up all their files.
Exactly. So they dish it out. It costs $1,000 a room at Caesars, so I think they had to pay it up.
These organizations do make for very good targets. They are used to hang out in risk-based situations.
Cybersecurity experts tell us ransomware attacks are now a real problem, and multi-million-dollar ransoms are not unusual. It's still unclear tonight what the hackers are demanding from MGM or if they're negotiating, David.
It's really quite something. Mola Lengi again tonight. Thank you, Mola.
Mola,
huh?
Mola. Man, what happened to, Mike and Frank? You know what I'm saying? The names of these
dinosaurs.
That's right, dude. Those names are ancient history now, man.
Mola. All right, Mola.
That's what you get now. You get the mole.
Is it something backwards? Like alam?
Oh, yeah, there's something spiritual going on here. I don't want to question it, though. I'll be a racist bigot, and we don't want to do that, man.
Yeah, it's been established.
I know, that's right.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. They don't know who did it, huh?
I mean, I have to blame the Russians or the Ukraine or China. I don't know.
Yeah, probably Ukrainian.
It's always Ukrainian, man. The Ukrainians, they have the whole network down.
Yeah, they're the worst people.
Yeah, I know. We all know how you feel about the Ukrainians.
Probably, yeah, right.
So that's where I was at. I had the old cyber attack going on. Didn't notice it. Everybody there was having a fantastic time. And if you go to Vegas, typically you're paying cash anyways for most transactions.
Yeah, I think this is more about the, like they said, the loyalty members. This is for the elites that go there.
Yes, yeah.
They don't care about Frank.
No,
from Colorado.
No, not at all. Like, I'm a nobody, and they just took my money, and I left. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah. China's not trying to get your information. They don't care.
No, China doesn't. Well, either way, I did mention that Bill Maher was there for the evening. We tried to squeeze it in with everything else. It was just impossible, and I didn't really want to spend a lot of money to see Bill Maher. I could just watch his show for free now that he's coming back to the air, which was huge news, man, considering we were just earlier talking about the writer's strike that nobody wants to talk about and that we've all forgotten. But here we go. He's the scab of the year, Bill Maher.
Bill Maher becomes the first late-night host to announce he's bringing back his HBO show Real Time amid the ongoing writer's strike. In a statement on social media, Maher said it's been 5 months and it's time to bring people back to work. He says his staff is struggling and he's not prepared to lose an entire year with employees suffering so much. Maher said Real Time will come back without writers, meaning his monologue and other elements will be cut from the show. For now, the show will focus on the panel discussions with in-studio guests.
It's going to be such a better show.
Yes, it will be. Definitely be smoother.
You're literally getting rid of the shittiest part of your show, your stupid little monologue. Where you talk about Trump and the people. We just need the people.
Yeah, I've been saying this for a long time now. Maybe one of the best parts of society over the last 5 or 6 months has been none of the Jimmies are out there every late night, like just coursing all of this negativity through the veins of the American populace, because most people aren't getting their news from CNN or even like reading things like NPR or anything. Most people, they get home from a long day, they finally get to sit their ass on the couch, they flip on the Jimmies on one of the late night shows or Stephen Colbert, and they get their news.
Yeah.
And then
you're right. This might be the most unifying thing since 9/11. The writer's strike.
Yes, I'm telling you, it's the best thing that's ever happened to us, because nobody's going to bed with this, venomous, nasty rhetoric in their minds and then waking up the next morning wanting to share it with people at work the next day. You know,
Keep it going, guys.
that's what I'm saying. And if they come back, just leave the writers out of it, man. Maybe that'll be even better. You know, you guys could just talk about stuff instead of forcing some narrative or some bullshit agenda down our throats.
I just don't get how Bill Maher thinks he could come back and not be a scab.
Well, he
Like
probably...
you literally you constantly talk about unions and the Republicans don't like, you know what I mean? They don't like the workers. Then here you are.
Well, I mean, what is Bill Maher ultimately? He's a businessman and he owns a company.
Yeah,
And
he's a piece of work.
But he's a businessman and he runs a company which is real time and he employs all these people and he probably is sympathetic to the cause of union workers within the writers and all that for up to a certain point until he needs to start cutting checks because he's a businessman.
I just think you are the most preachiest people out there on TV, right? And then whenever push comes to shove, you never actually practice what you preach.
That's right.
You know?
Well, I mean, is Bill Maher actually like a liberal in the new world order sense?
But he constantly talks about it. What does he always talk about? The working people and all that. Listen, don't bring your people back to work. How many people are you employing? Would you just save 20 people, 30 people? What about the hundreds, thousands of others? Right? Why don't you use your platform to actually do something, to actually push back against these corporate heads? You won't do it because then you're going to actually lose something. Well, you're a scab.
But does Bill Maher disagree with streaming? He's made a fortune off of streaming. In fact, it's the major corporations and wokeism, which is what got him kicked off of network TV in the first place. And then he went and started real time on HBO and signed a massive contract where his show streams. He's a streaming show. And so, you know, he signed a big contract to make money off of that platform before anyone got into it. And so he's smarter than the rest, and he's making the money.
I don't care, but you constantly preach democratic values like unions.
I agree. He's a hypocrite.
And then now you are being the ultimate hypocrite.
Yes.
You were that guy who, when everything's good, you're sitting on your high horse, preaching and preaching and preaching, right? The minute it becomes difficult for you to actually practice your so-called values, you cave.
Yeah. And you're bringing back the show now. It's kind of a waste. They're about to do lockdowns in 2 months anyways, so you got to do your show from home again, Bill Maher. Right? You support the liberals, right? Well, they're going to do liberals equals lockdowns. You know, you got to face it at one point or another.
Yeah. Well, not according to Eric Swalwell. He was out there preaching that they were the ones opening up the schools and the churches.
Okay. You can live in that fantasy world if you want, Swalwell. And we'll pretend not to think about the spy you were banging there for a couple of years.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah. This Bill Maher, man, it's insane that you're starting your show up again. That is crazy. You are such a hypocrite. You should be out there every day protesting with these people like you say you really are for them, you know?
Right, and, you know, he's probably making money anyways touring and doing his comedy on the road, so what's it to him to have to do the show? And he's got his neat little podcast that he loves doing so much.
Yeah, don't tell me you're not making money off that.
He's probably making some money, I can assume.
Yeah, I don't know. And then you're saying it's because of the little guy. Go fuck yourself, dude. You're worried about becoming irrelevant. You know what you're looking at? The fact that it's coming up, man. The primaries are coming up, and then it's election season. You want to be out there.
Yeah, good call. He needs to be out there making fun of Trump and talking about Biden, and a lot of news to go over, too, with the Hunter Biden stuff, right? I mean, they're finally reporting it, so Bill Maher can finally talk about it. I can only assume Jon Stewart's going to come out of the desk one day and talk about the laptops. You know, first week back for Stephen Colbert, Jon Stewart comes out. Oh, did you guys hear about these Hunter Biden laptops? Oh, hardy har, now we can all talk about it, just like the lab leak.
You won't believe it. It wasn't Russian disinformation. I like how nobody's talking about 5 former heads of our CIA. Really believe that was Russian disinformation, huh? How stupid are the former heads of our CIA?
Yeah, man. Well, that's outrageous. Are you saying that there were 5 heads of the CIA that said it happened or didn't?
Don't you remember that letter that Joe Biden, he kept bragging about it. He even brought it up during the debate. It was a letter signed by 54 former intelligence agents.
That's right. Yeah.
That said this had all the evidence of Russian disinformation.
I totally forgot about that. That's so
and it
crazy.
was like 4 or 5 of the men on that list were former heads of the CIA.
Yeah, nothing to see here, folks.
So, that's what I'm saying. Our CIA is either lying to us or they're very stupid.
That's right. Oh,
Because
lying.
Mike the plumber in Chicago knew that shit was real. And so did Alex Jones.
Yeah, well, Alex Jones has been banned from everything, and he will be buried alive upon lawsuit upon lawsuit upon lawsuit for the rest of
He's
time.
not allowed to die. He's got to pay off. He's going to take him 300 years. They're going to keep him alive just so he could pay off
I know, dude.
Sandy Hook victims.
Billions of dollars to a bunch of crisis actors. Impressive stuff
He
just pulled
always,
out there.
brings up that FBI agent that he never even met or talked about or anything, and the guy won $30 million or something in that lawsuit.
What? That's so crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy that happened to Alex Jones, and then was it this year that happened to him, and then we also imprisoned a bunch of January 6th people who weren't even at January 6th to 20 years in prison? This year will go down in history as the year the Democrats went after their political opponents, man. Full force.
Don't worry. The DOJ begged judges around the country to go lenient on BLM protesters, even ones who burned down liquor stores with people inside them. So
That's
that
right,
should make
man.
you feel good.
Summer of Love 2020. Who could forget? The images from those 2 or 3 months, the rioting everywhere, the stuff that was going on in Portland, Portland was under siege for 30 days by black and mask-clad rioters, man. They were throwing Molotov cocktails at the police station, and the riots were insane in Portland. It was 30 straight days or whatever of just incredible violence. And we can't talk about that. No, we got to talk about the one day where 90% of this crowd was filled with federal agents and 10 dudes from the Proud Boys. They stormed the Capitol.
Well, you know what I love is the you haven't really heard anything about that girl that was shot by the cops who was pregnant, the black chick.
So I did see some of this floating around a bit about a week ago, and then it got buried. We're not doing the say her name with this one for some reason.
No, it's because Biden's president.
That's right.
The activists. The reason you're kind of hearing about it is because the activists are out. They really want this, but they can't get the traction in the media because the media doesn't want to touch this. No. We can't have BLM riots during Biden's administration.
Wow.
Think about how much worse this one is. Way worse than George Floyd. This was a pregnant woman.
Yeah, this one was really bad, and I am shocked that it isn't getting the play, but it makes sense. We can't have a Summer of Love Part 2 Electric Boogaloo during the Biden campaign for 2024.
And then you got the Dude Man podcast talking more about Tyre Nichols than anybody else.
Yeah,
even though we did spend 5 minutes laughing about his name.
Yes, it's still funny. They named his kid Old English after Tyre. At some point, you got to do just a little research when if you're going to go out there, right? If you're going to skip naming your kid Mike or Frank, and you're going to go with the Tyre, well, you make sure at least you know you did a little research. Does this mean something else?
They should have a dictionary in the rooms where you give birth, in the maternity ward.
Right.
Before you give him the name, look it up, make sure it's not a word.
Tyre. It's just so absurd. It's an absurd name, and I feel bad for the guy, but he was beaten to death by an organization of 5 dudes who worked for the cops in Memphis, and they were all black.
There was some crazy mob squad that just went around assaulting gang members.
Yes, it's crazy, and that's what was going on.
Don't want to talk about that.
Can't talk about it.
Yeah,
No.
that chick that got shot though, that one was kind of weird. I don't know how I feel about it, but I can't believe that nobody's even there's not one protest.
Well, I don't know anything about it, to be honest. I mean, wasn't it an accident actually?
No, she stole liquor from a liquor store. She's pregnant, 6 months pregnant.
It's great.
So
Good stuff right there. It's a good start to the story.
she gets in the car and she's about to take off. There's a cop in front of her, and when she takes off, he shoots through the windshield and kills her.
That's a rough scene. Probably not a good move over a liquor bottle, right? Considering in LA and San Francisco, you can steal $1,000 worth of clothing from any major clothing store, right? Boutique place, and just walk right out.
Depending on the liquor, that's like 20 bottles.
I guess, yeah, you're right, man. She's probably stealing something off the cheap shelf, right? Something easy to grab. I can imagine.
Oh, yeah.
So the chick got shot. She's pregnant. Her and the kid die. It was over a stolen bottle of liquor. Now, the question is, and why isn't this getting play, what was the race of the cop?
White.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, man. So they are definitely... Dude, are you kidding me? Like, this should be all over every TV everywhere.
George Floyd was a piece of shit who died because he swallowed fentanyl.
He was also notorious for holding a gun to a pregnant woman's stomach.
This was a pregnant woman.
Yes.
Shot in cold blood by a white officer.
That's really crazy. I had no idea that was actually what happened.
This one you could even argue she was surrounded by white cops pointing guns at her. Of course she was scared. That's why she drove away.
Yikes, this is not a good story for the Biden administration. You're saying they can't really afford to have a summer of love because it would be so destructive, and you wouldn't be able to blame Trump or anything, and systemic racism, because if the system is racist and you are running the system, then you are the racist.
Yeah, they're already using it for their narrative. Who just said it? I think it was our mayor in Chicago. He's like, well, if you look at the statistics, everything really started going up around 2020. So they're already blaming Trump for, like, that's when the end of his presidency is when everything went to shit.
Wow, that's smart, man. They figured it all out, and then eventually when it comes out that everybody's dying from the vaccine, they'll say, hey, that wasn't our Operation Warp Speed. That was his, man. He had his name all over it, see?
Plus, if you think about it, people do talk about it around here, like the protest of when they raised the bridges and everything. All that was under Trump's administration. So they, the Democrats did it to the cities, but
yeah, good call. But hey, Trump is the law and order man. Like, he was the guy who remember they shot out all those smoke bombs and then they walked over to that Lincoln Memorial thing with the army and everything during the Summer of Love. I'm pretty sure that was the same moment in time.
He let the cities go to shit.
He did. Good call.
All the threats and everything he made, they were empty. How many times did he threaten he was going to send in the federal officers and stuff like that? And he never actually did.
He didn't want to come off as authoritarian, I imagine. There's a bad image with the martial law situation going into effect. And
come on, Seattle should have been...
They should have sent some troops into Seattle, no doubt.
When they were firebombing the police station?
Yeah, again, Portland was out of control for a month, maybe 2 months. I distinctly remember that Andy No fella was there on the ground reporting in real time. I think he even was badly assaulted by Antifa because he was reporting on all the atrocities that they were causing. And make no mistake, BLM and Antifa were working side by side to just cause chaos and destruction. That's all they were doing.
For sure.
There was no other agenda behind their movement.
And who was funding them?
The DNC. I'm sure everything was coming out of the bank account of Sam Bankman-Fried down in the Bahamas. Right? Just funneling it through Ukraine, through the DNC, back to him in the Bahamas, over to the BLM people down in Seattle and Portland. They can just keep throwing Molotov cocktails and burning down liquor stores and police stations. And it wasn't
there were definitely situations where he should have said, listen, you're the mayor of this city. If you're not going to do anything, I have the obligation to protect the citizens of America.
Yeah.
So, and I need to set the example to other mayors. I'm not just going to sit here and let you turn your city into a hellscape.
Oh, and then imagine if Trump had done that right away with something like Portland or Seattle. You would have never had Kenosha, then you would have never had people like Kyle Rittenhouse going out to take arms and defend their cities.
Exactly. I mean, that was a really weird consensus amongst the Democratic leaders that we were just going to allow these people to protest. It was actually a good thing for these riots to take place.
That's right, dude.
And then 3 years later, we're 1,600 cops short. Why doesn't anybody want to be a cop?
Yeah, considering we just sentenced the dude who was just crowd pushing, like he was just holding back the crowd during George Floyd.
Say his name.
Tao. Say yes, dude. Goes to prison for how long because he was just standing there?
Oh, too long. Whatever. 1 day is too long.
Any sentence
I
was wrong.
Believe.
Yes, man.
Poor Tao.
Just doing
that was
crowd
the greatest
management.
victim of 2020 right there.
Yes,
Tao.
dude. Yes. All the cops during that George Floyd, with the exception of Chauvin, I guess, because, let's be fair, he did do the chokehold and the knee down, whatever it was.
God, his knee wasn't even on his fucking
I don't care.
rack, dude. I know. It's
I'm
so
willing to concede him.
You're right, though. I will give you Chauvin.
I give you the dude who did it, but the other cops, what a tragedy behind all this is the way you indicted all these other cops who didn't do anything and had nothing to do with this fat idiot dying from his fentanyl overdose. Like, when he had COVID. He
wasn't fat. To be fair, he was in pretty good shape.
The only dude to die with COVID that didn't die of COVID. George Floyd. George Floyd's the only guy who had COVID that died, but he was not marked down for COVID death. It was a cop murder. It's incredible, man.
Yeah, he did have COVID.
He had COVID and fentanyl in his system, but he died from Chauvin. It's absolutely absurd to even... But fine, we'll give you Chauvin, right? Take him. But the other cops, that is a tragedy, and that right there is why here we are 2 years later, 3 years later, and nobody wants to be a cop in any major liberally run city. You do not have the benefit of the doubt. You do not have the support of your elected officials or your community.
Then this lady was just in Chicago talking about how she got mugged. I don't even remember hearing about it. I guess it was a couple months ago because she just got out of the hospital. And she was saying how the worst part was all the people around her and nobody did anything while this man just beat the shit out of her.
Wow, right? Man. Nobody stepped in.
And all I could think is nobody going to mention the poor Marine who's waiting for his trial in New York City?
Wow. Yes.
Is nobody even going to mention
Daniel Penny.
Is nobody even going to... I forgot his name. Yeah, Daniel. Is anybody going to mention the fact that this Marine was a hero? He actually saw the same thing, stepped up, prevented the violent beating, and now he's probably going to go to jail?
Yeah.
Or prison? For a long time.
By a jury of his peers who wanted to support the Michael Jackson impersonator.
No, just a poor impersonator.
Not
right?
the Marine, who you are correct. Instead of allowing someone to get beaten or sexually assaulted, he stopped it from happening, but he has to go to prison now.
Oh, he's the devil.
Great call, dude, and that's why now we have a society where if you're getting beaten, well, I'm not going to stop that guy from beating you because now I'm going to go to prison.
Because I was thinking about it, too, when I was watching them play the video, and it's like this black guy beating the shit out of this white girl, and it's like, I don't want to... What if I step in? What the fuck you doing? I fight this guy, and then it turns out that's his wife. And then you're just the racist. You just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but no, I mean, even if it's your wife, you blasting some fisticuffs on your wife, no matter your race, I think somebody should step in, or stop. I don't know.
Fuck that, dude. Never step. I'm at that point now. I live in Chicago. You people get what you voted for. I'm not helping nobody. I'm that monkey, man. I see nothing. I hear nothing.
Yes, see no evil, hear no evil. Good call, dude. And that's the unfortunate fate of these cities now with the defunding of the police. And you are correct, sir. I totally forgot about that poor Marine, Daniel Penny, over there in New York, rotting away in a cell because he saved people from getting harassed and accosted by that tragically poor young man, that Michael Jackson impersonator. The way Amy Goodman...
He found his true calling on the streets of New York, impersonating Michael Jackson.
Amy Goodman would always... I forgot the guy's name, thankfully, but she would always describe him as a man who loved impersonating Michael Jackson on the subways of New York. I think that was his passion for life, to impersonate Michael Jackson. No, the dude was homeless. He's trying to make some drug money, man. That's what he's doing.
A homeless drug addict. The drugs warped his brain.
Oh, dude, great call. That just floored my mind. That's why you are not getting any kind of vigilantism or anybody stepping up and being a chivalrous in the situation or in the moment, stopping somebody from, doing something violent to another bystander. No, we're just going to put our blinders on and keep on walking, because if we even try to attempt some sort of intervention, we could be rotting in a cell just like Daniel Penny, the ex-Marine.
I mean, and it's even worse than that. I could be facing worse charges than the assaulter.
Yes. Yeah, good call, dude. Absolutely.
Like, I could find myself in a situation where I'm the only one going to prison, you know?
Yeah, that is wild stuff, honestly.
I don't, you don't want to help anybody.
No, not at all. And, well, New York is a crazy place these days. And also, I mean, it's pretty vacant at this point, too. That's what I've been hearing. So, like, it's basically just criminals and homeless roaming around at this point.
And immigrants.
And migrants. Which Eric Adams can't seem to find any room for. Right? He's got all these migrants.
We have no more room in the city.
Yeah, there's no vacancy, man. We got nowhere to put them.
Even Nona loves it, man. She just dies laughing. She like can't even finish talking about him when she brings up him crying about the immigrants in New York.
Dude, that video, I mean, we went over it, but when you really think about this guy, like, have you not seen footage of yourself talking about how you're a sanctuary city and you're welcoming all these migrants to New York? You did it like not even half a year ago, my man. Like, you were all in on the migrants, and now you're saying it's overwhelming and New York is going to be destroyed and it's the end of New York City. Well, congratulations, Eric Adams. Your name as mayor will be tied historically to the end of New York City. You ruined New York City.
Did you see the news out of Chicago?
I did not, actually.
$540 million shortfall in our budget.
And
we're short $500 million.
As far as revenue and making money.
Yeah, so we're short $500 million of what we're gonna need, and they're saying we're short $500 million because $200 million is the immigrant.
Wow.
Yeah, but what happened to the other $300 million?
That's right, dude.
You know.
These cities are in rough places, man. What major company is bidding to move to Chicago right now?
Well, that's what it is. The whole system, especially places like New York and Chicago, where it's all corruption. It's all corruption. And the only way it continues to exist is if people keep moving in and the tax base has to keep growing. It's like a Ponzi scheme, right?
It is, yeah, you're right.
And then the minute you stop getting people on the bottom feeding in, that's it. You know, and that's what you're seeing now is you're having population loss, and we just do not have, we don't have the tools, and nobody even really would know how to actually make Chicago like an actually functional, fiscally responsible city. You know what I mean?
Because the corruption's too thick. It's too deep-seated within the culture of the system there that there's no way you could eradicate how the money is just squandered and people line their pockets, the aldermans and everything. Like, it's just, there's too many...
The aldermans, such a scam.
There's too many wheels to grease there.
There was a point there where Lori Lightfoot declared that they weren't getting enough done to protect Chicagoans during the COVID epidemic.
That's right, yeah, man.
So she just gave herself the authority to skip everybody else in the city, any checks and balances, and she just gave herself full authority to give any contract up to $1 million.
Oh, perfect, yeah.
To protect us from COVID.
That's right,
she
man.
She used that to give out contracts like landscaping.
Excellent.
And cleaning buildings.
That's just like what Jared Polis did here in Colorado. Let's bring in black people. We'll give you $10,000 to open a dispensary. Even, in a market that's totally overflooded with dispensaries. Come on over. We'll give you some money. Open it up.
We'll give you $10,000, and then the license is going to cost you about $250,000.
Yeah, well, starting a dispensary costs like $1 million. essentially.
Minimum.
And, in a market that's oversaturated and everything's closing down, it's not a good time to be opening up anything in Colorado. Denver especially. This place is, it's a horrible place to start your business. The taxation, the regulations for green energy, protocols on top of you have to pay your minimum wage employees $18 an hour with full health benefits. Like, get the fuck out of here. I'm not going to open a business here. That's impossible. That's an impossible start.
And that's the death spiral. Now you have to tax the people more who are working in your city.
Yeah.
And they're looking around like, what am I paying for? You're just giving my money to you're making the city shittier. You're just giving my money to the shitty people who don't do anything. They contribute nothing.
Yes, exactly, man.
They're the ones bringing down the city. That's why I can't get anywhere. But every fucking street has potholes, and everything's under construction. I can't even move.
Seems like we're just hyper-focused on the wrong things culturally, especially in these major liberal cities. Denver, Chicago, anything in California. That state is lost as a whole. New York, and especially New York, man. They're constantly just bending to the whim of all these liberal agendas, and that's why you have these clowns walking around shutting down business.
Here in New York, hundreds of climate activists.
Oh, sorry, I know. I hope you guys have a little bottle of water there. It's going to be a little thirsty really quick.
Activists blocked the entrances to Citibank's headquarters in Manhattan Thursday.
Don't worry, the rate of water absorption Amy Goodman has, I swear to God, we could melt half the ice caps and we'd still be good.
I think we should send her over to Libya and just soak up some of the ground there, save some of the people.
Just drop her off. Tell her to start talking.
Don't worry, Libyans. We're sending Amy Goodman. She'll soak up all the water.
Look like that scene in X-Men when she stops the dam.
Yes, exactly. Oh, man. We laugh because it's the only thing you could do in tragedies like Libya. That's like 10,000 plus, I think. They're saying up. Gonna get
20,000.
Gonna get up to 20 G's, absolutely.
And it happened while they were asleep. Dude, why would you live in a mud hut? It's easy for me to say. But man, you never want to live downriver of a dam.
But these are people who had no choice, man.
That's what I mean, yeah. It's easy for me to say, but...
Yeah, and
dude, that's crazy. It just washed away buildings, like faster than... just in a blink of an eye, gone. While you're sleeping?
That's a tragedy that just has unfolded throughout time for humanity. It always occurs. Just something cracks, something breaks on these dams, and it breaks, and, it washes away the populace. It's happened a lot of times.
It's almost like you could never control Mother Nature. You might be able to temporarily.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know what, really, too? We put too much faith in science.
Good call. Good call.
And
about that God factor.
Every once in a while, you need an act of God to put you in your place, I guess, or remind you of the realities of our world.
God always has a say.
Yes, sir. So I love this climate change bit from Amy Goodman. It's very stupid, but they have to tie every tragedy into climate change.
Here in New York, hundreds of climate activists blocked the entrances to Citibank's headquarters in Manhattan Thursday. At least 25 protesters were arrested. Democracy Now! Spoke to organizer...
Hey, don't even arrest these guys. Props to you. You stayed out of the streets. I like this. Yes. Protest the headquarters.
This is what we've been talking about. Yes, stop gluing your hands
those
to the
guys
road.
in suits, they literally lose nothing if they're late for work.
Exactly.
I get paid by the hour. Don't stop me.
I'm all that. We've talked about this before. Go to these main headquarters and fuck with the elites, dude. Stop fucking with the average guy just trying to get to his 9 to 5, man.
Go into their parking garages, find a 7 Series, and glue your hands to it. Or that'll fucking make a statement.
Do something that decommissions their Tesla charging devices. Do something, you know what I'm saying? Like, really fuck
Frank,
with
these
these
are
dudes.
oil execs. They don't drive Teslas.
Yeah, you're right. They're driving gas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we all know.
That 7 Series.
Mike, come on. Everybody knows no gas, no ass, baby. That's how it works in this world. Come on, man. Hey-o. Yeah!
And after he was released from police custody.
Just this week, there are thousands, potentially tens of thousands of people that have died in Libya from extreme flooding that is being driven by the climate crisis.
And
the climate crisis we know is being driven by the fossil fuel
industry. It has nothing to
industry.
do with the fact that this dam was built in a third world country.
That's what I'm saying. Or the fact that we actually staged a coup d'etat in Libya about 20 years ago or 15 years ago. I'm sorry, 10 years ago during the Obama administration, if I'm not correct. We took out Gaddafi. And after that, their infrastructure has completely crumbled, and the country has just been in total disarray since that coup d'etat, since we destabilized the country. And with the destabilization of a country comes the destruction of the infrastructure. And here we are, and this is the direct result of taking out the leadership.
Frank, did you hear yourself there? How am I going to win an election off of that? Right? Haven't you heard about the climate monster? That's an election winner, baby. We're dealing with stupid Americans. Come on.
You know, I'm pretty sure, right? Wasn't it 2014, 2013 we took out Gaddafi?
When was Gaddafi?
And it was right after he announced he was going to unify Africa behind a gold-backed monetary system. And
2011.
We decided, nope, we're just going to take him out, stage a coup, bring in our own leaders. We're going to destabilize the country. 10 years later, it's rife with, corruption, and nobody that's in power has done anything to improve the infrastructure. And here we are. You get a little heavy rain, and nobody's fixing the dams or checking on any issues, and you have a catastrophic flooding, and tens, maybe 20,000 people died.
Nobody wants to believe. It's the same thing with like the old Soviet countries.
Yes.
Nobody understands the fact that some of these countries, the only new, quote unquote, new buildings they have were left over from the Soviet area. Like nothing's been built since. Right?
Yes.
So they're looking at their town. The only bridge that's ever been built in their area was built by the Soviets in the 60s. And they're looking at it like, well, so, Russia's not that bad. It's better than anything we've gotten since.
That's right, man. It's a rough scene. And it's a total epic tragedy, but it is no doubt based upon human error and
100%.
The fact that it's just been ignored. When you ignore infrastructure, it breaks down. And you know why we have proof of that in the modern era? Take a look at 2004 with Hurricane Katrina and what happened in New Orleans.
New Orleans. Oh, look at that building that collapsed in Florida.
Or that mysterious Building 7 that just collapsed on its own on 9/11. Right across the street.
Or the Maui fires. Dude, have you been seeing the shit on the Maui fires?
Dude, I'm always down to go further down the rabbit hole of Maui. Give it to me, man. I'm all for it. I love it.
Did you see the melted car?
Just tell me about the melted car.
Joe, so this guy, I don't know how real this is, but it was this video going around, and this guy's showing this car that's, dude, the glass melted.
Yes,
right?
I've seen this. The windshield melted.
The windshield melted, and the aluminum is just, it's all like when you superheat it. You could just brittly break it, you know what I mean?
That's right.
Normal. Okay, it was in the super hot fire, obviously, right? But then like 3 feet away from the car, not 3 feet, it's like 10 feet away from the car, there's just perfect grass.
Like, what is that?
And it's not even like green grass, it's like dry grass that should have definitely been burned.
Then what happened here? Like, what can we possibly realistically...
directed energy beam, for sure.
Well, I can't believe you're there. I said this the first day it happened, and I can't believe here you are, like, oh, man. Because I still think that something exploded, and the way, like, it was some sort of energy, something they were playing with.
It was a directed energy beam, for sure. Like a giant laser thing that just started this fire, and... we all had it wrong, man. It wasn't the Jews that are controlling these space lasers.
Oh, no.
Everything. It's Oprah.
Oh, I knew it! Oh, my God! I was
either her or Stedman.
You're psycho. I was just about to say, I never trusted that Stedman character.
Oh, wait a minute. Stedman is a Jew. No, it's all coming together.
It all makes sense.
He's got to be a Jew, right?
I don't know. He's black.
Is he?
Isn't he?
I thought he was white.
I don't know. If you tell me Stedman's white and you prove it to be true,
he's like a white Jew. Oh, he's tan. I don't know what he is.
Is he tan? I don't know. I thought he was I don't know. I didn't think Oprah mingled with the other side. You know what I'm saying? I thought Oprah was...
What do you mean?
Well, Oprah's big on the roots. Like, she's big on coming from slavery and, being an OG kind of African-American.
Oh, yeah, he is black. Okay, yeah, I'm wrong. I just opposited Joe Yeah.
I didn't see.
Okay,
I couldn't envision Oprah swinging to the other side like others do. You know what I'm saying? No. To me, she strikes me as a I am sticking to my culture.
He's a big guy, 6'7".
Stedman,
Damn.
really?
So you thinking like the black culture 6'7" is equivalent to the white 5'7"?
Oh, maybe, yeah. I think you're right. It's just a foot taller.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good call. I think you're onto something. The 6'7" is the power height of the black culture, whereas 5'7" of the whites, that's the power height.
Oh, if your people are up in the mountains of Europe, 5'7".
That's right, man.
You're optimum. But if you're running in the plains of Africa, 6'7".
Yeah, you got that reach. You got the leg length. You probably have the hops.
Plus, you could see.
You can see a little further down the road. No doubt about it. Yeah.
He's a funny looking guy, dude. He's got like kind of a Harvey Weinstein mustache going on.
Stedman rocks the push broom Flanders mustache. One of my favorite mustaches. Nobody, you have to be pushing a lot of robusto hair follicles through that underbrush zone between the nose and the lips, man. Like, in order to have the, that style mustache, like, that's a thick zone of hair.
Yeah, it is, huh?
So that must be genetic for some people, like Ron Swanson, right? Like, that's that kind of stash with that kind of volume. I feel like you need a certain level of testosterone to be pushing that kind of stuff through.
For sure. For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
sure.
I imagine some element of gigantic balls go with the push broom mustache. Huge watermelon-sized testicles.
I gotta tell you, man, I've been trying to look it up. I mean, nowhere does this. He's not husband. It's partner.
Yeah.
Long-term
No, it's
partner.
very
of Oprah,
mysterious.
so.
Very mysterious
Yeah,
relationship
right.
there with the Oprah and the Stedman. I don't even know. Do they live together there in their house with no neighbors in Lahaina now? I imagine.
I don't know.
It is so weird that Oprah's house, nothing got touched, but everything around her just burned to the ground, man.
And this is 2 times that happened with properties she's owned and then wanted to expand.
Yes.
And like the thing with Lahaina is like the water was turned off to the fire hydrants.
That's right, man.
Come on.
Yeah, like, when do they do that ever?
Ever.
For any reason. What would be the reason? The only reason for doing that would be if the villain, the Scarecrow, and Batman were battling it out, and the Scarecrow had some device that was going to turn all the water into steam, right? And, like, spread this virus. That's the only reason I could see you shutting off the water to stop the Scarecrow from sending the virus that kills us all. You know what I'm saying?
I gotta tell you, man, I've been going down the Batman rabbit hole. I started off Batman, Michael Keaton.
You're going OG I'll follow you on this path, man. I got nothing to watch. Hell yeah.
And I just saw they're all on Netflix.
Oh, I'm in like Flint. Absolutely.
So, dude, I just did Batman, and then now I got distracted by Band of Brothers. I can't watch even a preview of it without just like, all right, I'm in. Gotta watch the series.
That's it. Yeah, you can't turn it down.
Such a good series.
Band of Brothers, they don't... That's right, dude.
But I did the Batman. God, I'm not joking. It's got to be the best Batman ever.
Batman 1, the original with Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton, is the best Batman. I've said this over and over again. Nothing tops it, dude. Start to finish. It has... What's beauty is the aesthetic behind it. Like, Tim Burton nails it.
It's very comic book-like.
He's
like,
got
they really kept it like the comic.
Well,
I think that's the best Joker. Come on.
Yes, dude. Jack Nicholson nails it. But it's got the film noir element where it's like... somewhere between the future and the past, and you just can't tell where it is.
Yeah, good call.
Like, it's either taking place in the 80s or in the 50s, and it's somewhere in this world that they both exist simultaneously almost.
And do you know what I think I nailed about why Michael Keaton makes a good Batman?
He's 5'7".
Is he?
I don't know. I think that's too short for Batman, I think.
That's 5'9".
Yeah, we covered it. Yeah, that's right.
Not that great. But because like you do kind of believe he is like that billionaire son, right?
Yeah.
And the whole point of Batman is you're supposed to be like, no way could that guy ever be Batman.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so that's why he did it so good. When you see like Val Kilmer got super jacked for the role and everything, it's like, okay, but it's supposed to almost be unbelievable, you know?
Well, that's why George Clooney didn't work. Like, George Clooney, come on, dude. You would be Batman, man. Like, when I look at you, like, dude, are you Batman? Just tell me now. I'm looking at you. You gotta be Batman, dude. You're rich. You got that hair. You've looked this way your whole life. You're fucking Batman. I know you are.
It was too obvious, right? Yeah, like the Michael Keaton was really like a no way.
Yes,
you know?
Absolutely.
Like even the new one, the Batman, this guy's like he's literally like Superman. He's like 6'7", fucking super jacked model, and like, no, you're Batman? Oh, God.
Yes,
I don't know.
This is why we need the new Batman to be like, you know, who's that midget that couldn't be in Seven Dwarfs because he made us think about it? What's his name?
Dinklage?
Yeah, we should get Dinklage out there as the next Batman, dude. Nobody would see that coming, man.
Yeah, but even like 5'9" is the average height. Michael Keaton was like the perfect Batman.
Yeah,
like,
because he's average. You wouldn't. Yes, exactly. Well, that's why I like mini Batman. We gotta go down the route. This reminds me of how I never saw the mini aliens coming when we were talking about the reveal of those mini aliens in Mexico.
Dude.
Like I
can't stop thinking about that.
Never in my wildest.
What if there's like really tiny aliens
like
floating around that we don't know are there?
Dude, like a whole planet of these tiny aliens, man.
Like what if they're like, all right, we're gonna like they keep attacking, we're gonna attack Chicago again, and we all just have allergy attacks. And like we think it's like, the tree pollen is really striking today, but really it's like their Air Force, you know,
where everybody's got like a bunch of sneezing going on. Like, oh man, something's in the air here. This is crazy. We're just actually
under pollen, but microscopic aliens.
We're under attack from another planet. They're just tiny.
Like when you first said tiny, like this could go so many. I mean, are you talking? If you go like microscopic tiny,
you could go really small. But you know what I was kind of thinking? My favorite part about Men in Black are those aliens who hang out in the lobby smoking cigarettes and eating donuts all day long.
Yeah,
and they're like tiny guys. They're like a foot tall. And the idea of, you know, a whole race of aliens living on this planet that are like sophisticated enough to like have these little machines and fly interdimensionally, like that's really funny.
That would be the best. They get here, they're so small, they realize they can't put up a fight, so they just start smoking cigarettes, chilling with us,
assimilate and hang out.
We wanted to conquer, but you guys are so fun to hang out with.
We love Vegas. It's a great time. I think aliens would love Vegas. Vegas is so wacky, dude. That's a place where aliens would show up and be like, all right, let's hang out. This is our place.
Maybe. You think so?
I think there's already aliens there, man. People are freaking weird over there. That's
where you could hide out, right? Like
we have to have aliens amongst us. It's either one or the other. It's either there are no aliens at all, or they're already here amongst us currently.
I think there's no aliens.
You think there's no aliens?
I don't know, man.
None?
I don't know.
I think we're the aliens.
Could be.
Well, I'm excited to see the tiny ones come and invade us. I like the idea of tiny aliens, man. This needs to be more of a thing. Like, there's a comedy movie right there. You got this whole force, like you could show the whole alien force preparing for battle, and they lightning like hyper speed out of their planet into Earth, and they fly in to attack it, and they get down to like Washington D.C. and they realize they're the size of birds. Right?